Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For this piano tutorial, we will be learning the song Most Beautiful by Maverick City Music. And this song is in the key of D major. And given that this song is pretty simple with the chords, what I'll be doing is sharing my approach to the voicings that I use for these chords, okay? So let's start off with the intro to the song, which sounds something like this. Right, and then it goes into the first verse. Okay, so this introduction is constructed by starting on the one chord, which is D major. Right, it's sort of playing the chorus of the song where it says the dearest father. Right, so it's playing this melody over D major. And this melody, if you play it all together, you can notice that it's sort of a D major 7th type of sound, right? It has F sharp, A, C sharp, and D, okay? So we start off on this melody, and then it creates an inversion for that first chord and plays a D major in this first inversion using the same melody, right? And this is sort of creating a passing chord to go into the next chord, which is a 4. But it's not just a regular 4, right? It's not just a regular G major. It's actually playing sort of a combination, right? Sort of an A7 over G, if you want to call it that, right? And it's voiced like this, right? Right, it goes from A and F and C sharp in the right hand down to a G and a B, and then it creates an E minor, right? It goes to the 2, and I play it as an E minor 7. It plays the same melody on the right hand, and instead of going down to G and B, it goes up to B and D, right? And from here, it immediately goes back to the 4. And I like playing this 4 with this voicing, okay? Right? I do this grace note from E and A to F sharp and B, and that gives me that G major 7 sound. Right? So we were here. And then we're back to the same thing. Then over here, since we repeat it twice, I like making some slight changes, right? Not something very drastic, but maybe change up the voicing for the chord that we already played, right? We played this G major 7 before, but this time I decided to play it a little bit more open, right? I voiced it like this. I basically just inverted the F sharp and B to a B and F sharp. Alright, so that's that first intro to the song. And now we go into the first verse, which is one thing I desire. And the chords here, or the numbers, are one thing I do, one, da 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 da, one, just to dwell, 2, 6, dwell, and then 4. Here forever. Then we're back to the 1, and then we use a 4 as a passing chord. This won't be my posture. Right, same chords. Right, so the voicings that I used in this first verse, right? I start off very simple, just a D major or a first inversion D major over a D, okay? So, one thing I desire. Here we can play around with the extensions that we use, right? We can either stay in D major or we can make it slightly more tension, I guess, by adding this major 7 or adding the second or adding the second down here, right? We can play around with those extensions to a point where we feel satisfied, okay? So one thing I desire, da, 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 right? Now to get into this 2, right? The 2 is E minor, where it says just to dwell. I like playing this melody, which is actually very common when playing a minor chord, right? Let's say we're going to play E minor. We would basically play the 5, then the 1, the 2, then the minor 3, right? Right, that's one way to approach minor chords. So in this case, I play the 2 as an E minor, and I like playing my left hand as a 1, 5, 10 voicing, okay? That fills up the chord a bunch. Then we go to the 6. And for the 6, I'm playing it in this voicing, B minor 7th, but pay attention to the way that I order the notes, right? The reason why I'm playing it like this is because the melody of the song is actually in this part of the song an F sharp, right? Just to dwell, right? And the next chord is a 4, and I play it as a G major 7. And one thing that I like doing and emphasizing are those grace notes, right? That plays a role into the dynamics of the song, right? Right? Little subtle movements that I feel that take your playing to another level. For example, in this 2, that very simple from F sharp to G creates sort of a different type of feeling to the chord, right? Sort of rolling off from that F sharp to the G. Right? And I like including them in most of the chords that I play. Here forever. Then we're back to the 1, right? In that part of the song, here forever. And then we use the 4 sort of as a passing chord to repeat the same progression. And I play that simple melody. I think it's part of the original song, right? Where I go from D to C sharp to A and to B. And once I land on the B, I'm playing this G major chord. And then I play A, G, and F sharp to go to this D major, okay? So da 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 da. Right, we can play a different inversion, just here forever. Now we're here in the chorus of the song, which says "Dearest Father." And it's very similar to the intro of the song, right? Where we start on the 1, dearest Father. Then we play a 3, closest friend, most beautiful. Right? Then we play an A over G, right? Most beautiful. And then we resolve it into a regular G major chord, okay? So most beautiful, most beautiful. Then we repeat that same process where we go from A to G, but we do it over an E minor, right? Most beautiful. And Then we resolve into that 4 and repeat the chorus. Dearest Father, closest, right? Different voicings for the same chord. Closest friend, da 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 da, da 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 da. Right, and this 4 chord right here is very sweet. I like playing it in this voicing where it's almost like a D major over a G, right? And those in combination sound very sweet, including that grace note right here. Right, so and then it goes back to the chorus. One thing I desire. Da 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 da. Right, and over here I'm just improvising with those different voicings. Maybe some gospel. Da 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 Alright, so let's move on into this bridge of the song, which says, there are no words, right? And in this section of the song, the numbers are 1, there are no words, right? With some slightly changes that I'll explain after this demonstration. Then the 6, the da da da, then a 7, my heart, da, then a 3, da da da, and up to a 4, and then 6, 7, right? And then that repeats on the 2, da, 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 to the 1, 6, 7, da, 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 3, 4, 6, 7, right? So the voices that I like to use in this part, right? Once we're going from the chorus to this first section, I like playing it as a 4/1, right? Usually it's played just as a plain 2, right? There are no words. But instead of playing a 2 to a 1, I like voicing it as a 4/1, right? G over D. There are no words. Right? Something very simple. 4/1 to the 1. Then the 6 I voice as a B minor 7. And then I go to the 7, which is a A major add 2 over C sharp. So our love sings to you. Right? Over here I play a 3. And this 3 is voiced very, very different, right? Usually a 3 is played as a 1/3 or just an F sharp minor, right? A regular 3 minor chord. But in this case, I'm combining both. I'm playing the 1/3, right? D over F sharp, but I'm playing this A major, which actually gives me sort of a combination between F sharp minor and D major, right? So that's the 3, and then we go into the 4. So my our love sings to you. Then the 6, and again that same melody in a minor chord, right? And then we go to the 7, and then it repeats. right? But there's something else that I like doing with this section of the song, right? This is the bridge of the song. So sometimes we sort of have a little bit more liberty with the chords, right? And since it's a simple harmony, a simple melody, we can get creative with the chords that we use. For example, we're playing a 2 to the 1. For example, here, instead of playing a 6 to a 7, I simply made one change where I make it I move this F sharp to the G to get this type of sound, right? Sort of a 4 over 6 sound. This da, da, da. Now here, the progression goes from the 6, right? And if you pay attention to the melody, it actually plays, right? B, F sharp, and C sharp. And we can actually experiment with those chords, right? Another chord that includes B, instead of being just a regular 6 chord, we can actually switch it for an E minor, for example. That still includes that B, so it will tend to work out with this harmony in this section of the song, right? So we can go to the 2. Now this F sharp is in the melody, and usually we're still in the 6 with this melody note. But another chord that includes this F sharp is G major 7. So instead of playing we can play now what chord can we use for this note, right? Usually we just play a 7, but in this case we can also play a D major 7, right? If you notice, this note is part of that chord. So right now we switched up the progression from 6 to the 7 to something like a 2, 4, 1, right? And it's all substituted over that 6 to 7 progression, right? So let's see how it sounds in context. Right? It still works out because the melody is conserved. Right, so that's basically the whole song. And what I want to do now, like always, is play through the whole song slightly with some different changes. You may not have to play it like this in an actual service, right? This is all only for learning purposes, so that you have different ideas for different approaches to some chords. Okay, hopefully you're able to learn something extra from this video. And if you were able to learn something, if you enjoyed the video, please help out the channel by subscribing and leaving a like down below.